I can still hear the static, the frantic, panicked breaths, and then the sound that froze my blood, my 6-year-old son, Leo, whimpering, muffled and terrified, calling out for me. That little burst of sound didn't come from a phone or a computer. It came straight through the cheap, brightly colored smartwatch I'd bought him. The one his mother, my ex-wife Chloe, mocked me for insisting he wear. It wasn't a distress signal or a planned call. It was a pure, accidental eavesdrop that let me listen in on a conversation that would shatter my entire world and reveal the horrific truth of what was happening in the house where I couldn't be. What I heard confirmed my worst fears, and it set me on a path of revenge so cold and calculated that even now, I wonder if I went too far. Was I wrong to use a loophole, a desperate electronic lifeline, to bring down the full weight of the law on my ex and her new husband? Tell me honestly, would you have done anything differently if you heard your child crying for help? To understand how high the stakes were, you have to know a little bit about my life and the battle lines that had been drawn. I'm an active duty military officer, specifically a captain in the Army. My job is demanding, requires long deployments, and often keeps me thousands of miles away from home. When Chloe and I divorced 3 years ago, the custody battle was a brutal, protracted fight. She leveraged my military schedule against me, painting me as an absentee father more committed to my job than my son. The judge, sympathetic to the appearance of stability, granted her primary physical custody, leaving me with standard visitation, which was often complicated and cut short by my rotations. It was a crushing blow, but I accepted the ruling and focused on making every moment with Leo count, always prioritizing quality over quantity. Leo is my world. He's a smart, sensitive kid with eyes that shine when he talks about space and dinosaurs. Losing him to the custody arrangement was the hardest deployment I'd ever faced. Chloe, on the other hand, moved on fast. She married David, a man who, to the public eye, was a successful, gentle-looking architect, the picture of suburban stability. David was exactly the kind of man the court preferred. 9-to-5 job, never deployed, always home. But every time I dropped Leo off at their house, I felt a knot tighten in my gut. Leo became withdrawn, jumpy, and increasingly hesitant to talk about what he did at his mom's house. He'd cling to me during handoffs, his little fingers digging into my uniform. Whenever I voiced my concerns to Chloe, she'd dismiss them immediately. "He's just adjusting," she'd say with a saccharine smile, or, "You're projecting your guilt about being gone, Mark." She was a master manipulator, always turning the situation back on me, making me doubt my own instincts. I tried everything, asking Leo directly, speaking to a school counselor, even consulting my lawyer, who told me without hard evidence, overturning a final custody order was virtually impossible, especially against a stable civilian household. I was frustrated, powerless, and terrified. I felt like I was failing my son from a distance. That's where the smartwatch came in. It wasn't anything fancy. It was one of those child trackers that had basic calling features. Chloe insisted he wasn't allowed to have a phone, claiming it was too much screen time, so I bought the watch. It had a feature I loved, a one-touch SOS and a simple voice messaging function. I was deployed overseas at the time, halfway around the globe, dealing with the relentless pressures of command, but I insisted Leo wear it. I told him it was our special line, a direct line to his dad no matter where I was. Chloe rolled her eyes, but she allowed it, probably viewing it as one of my silly, overly anxious military dad rituals. The watch had a setting, which I had fiddled with when I set it up, that occasionally, if bumped just right while charging, would initiate a brief, low-volume test. Connection. A tiny stream of audio to confirm the line was active before disconnecting automatically. It was a glitch, not a feature, and it was a miracle. The night it happened, I was in my bare bones office in the base, running through mission reports, battling severe jet lag, and trying to focus. My own phone was charging on the desk next to my laptop when a faint chime went off. It was the watch app, a tiny notification of an audio line ping. Normally, I'd ignore it, assuming static, but something, maybe just the exhaustion, made me tap the notification. What followed wasn't a call, but an open audio feed, low and distorted, like listening to a ghost. I grabbed my headphones, maxed the volume, and pressed them tight against my ears. First, I heard David's voice, low and menacing, not the pleasant architect voice I knew. "Did you tell your dad about the ground rules?" he hissed. A faint, terrified whimper. Then Leo's tiny voice, "I forgot, I'm sorry." David's voice grew louder, laced with a chilling, cold rage that made the hairs stand up on my neck. He wasn't yelling, but the control in his voice was terrifying. "You promised me. You know what happens when you break a promise to me, Leo." There was a sickening thud, followed by Leo's sharp breath. Stealing cry quickly stifled. "Stop crying, be a man. Your father makes you soft. You need discipline." My hands were shaking so hard I could barely hold the mouse. I heard another instruction, something about standing in the corner without moving, and then David addressed Chloe. "He needs to learn. He just needs to be broken." Chloe's voice, disturbingly flat, replied, "Fine, just make sure he's quiet before my Zoom call." Not a defense, not a protest, just an accessory. The audio cut out a second later, the test connection ending as abruptly as it began. I sat there in the darkness of my office, thousands of miles away, the metallic taste of pure adrenaline fueled terror in my mouth. That brief, accidental audio file, now saved automatically by the app, was my proof. That single file of a muffled cry and a cold threat was the hard evidence I needed. It wasn't just neglect, it was emotional abuse, physical threat, and Chloe's complicity. My immediate reaction was raw, blinding fury. I wanted to fly home right then, kick down their door, and take my son. But I was a trained officer. I knew that instinct would ruin everything. I needed a plan, a flawless military-grade operation to extract Leo and secure him permanently. So that's the situation I was in. I was trapped overseas, my son was in danger, and the only evidence I had was an accidental, few-second audio clip that my ex-wife and her lawyer would tear to shreds in any standard court proceeding. I had this damning proof, but using it conventionally was a risk that might fail and only escalate the danger for Leo. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause and comment below what you would have done in my shoes. Would you have immediately called the police from overseas, trusting them to act on a low-quality recording? Or would you have waited, planned, and executed a strategy to guarantee your son's safety and your victory? I waited. I had to. I knew the American judicial system, and I knew how easily things get dismissed as hearsay, especially when an absent military father is filing the claim. I called my lawyer, but I didn't send the audio immediately. I told him I had solid evidence of abuse and needed an emergency, confidential plan for extraction and a full custody claim. My lawyer, a former prosecutor who knew how I operated, respected the need for discretion. "Mark, you need a flawless paper trail," he warned. "We need to hit them with everything at once." That was my cue. I wasn't just going to file a complaint. I was going to launch an all-out, coordinated legal assault. My mission had 3 phases. asterisk asterisk, secure the evidence asterisk asterisk, asterisk asterisk, coordinate the extraction asterisk asterisk, and asterisk asterisk, execute the takedown asterisk asterisk. Asterisk asterisk, phase 1, secure the evidence. Asterisk asterisk, the audio clip was too short and easily dismissed. I needed context. My military network, vast and loyal, proved invaluable. I reached out to a trusted retired colleague who now ran a private security firm specializing in surveillance. No names, no direct contact, just a request for a discreet, non-intrusive security analysis of that specific address for a client worried about neighborhood issues. Within 72 hours, I had a documented, professional timeline of unusual activity, including David's car being frequently parked oddly close to the house on weekends and strange late-night visitor patterns. Crucially, the analysis identified a security camera facing the front door, recording all comings and goings. While they couldn't access the feed, they documented its existence and placement, which would be important later. Most importantly, I instructed my lawyer to file a temporary restraining order asterisk against David only asterisk, citing emotional and physical distress to Leo, based on the audio, and demanding that David vacate the premises immediately. This was a tactical maneuver. I didn't want to alert Chloe just yet. Asterisk asterisk, phase 2, coordinate the extraction. Asterisk asterisk, this required perfect timing. I secured emergency leave, citing a legitimate, urgent family matter, and flew home under the radar, not telling Chloe or David. I landed on a Thursday night. The next morning, Friday, was the day for the extraction. I didn't go to the house. Instead, my lawyer and I arranged for a specialized child welfare officer, a woman known for her sensitivity and discretion, to meet Leo directly at his school during the lunch hour without alerting Chloe or David, who were both at work. The officer, armed with a court order demanding an immediate, temporary transfer of custody based on my filing and supporting evidence, was to take Leo directly to a safe location I had secured, my sister's house, an address outside their immediate jurisdiction. Asterisk asterisk, phase 3, execute the takedown. Asterisk asterisk, this was the climax. The minute the child welfare officer confirmed Leo was safely secured, my lawyer executed the remaining orders. First, the full, detailed petition for primary physical custody was electronically filed with the court, citing the audio recording as direct evidence and the temporary restraining order against David as proof of the imminent threat. Second, we had a subpoena immediately served on Chloe at her office, demanding her presence in court on Monday morning, and crucially, demanding the immediate release of all electronic records, including her phone and any home security footage from the last 30 days. This was the trap. I knew Chloe was careless. She hadn't deleted the security footage from the front door camera the surveillance team had spotted. When the officers arrived at the house with the restraining order against David, Chloe was already home, having been alerted by a panicked call from his work. She was hysterical. When she saw the custody papers and the subpoena for the security footage, she went white. She tried to deny everything, claiming I was fabricating evidence using my military clout, but the audio, the clear, undeniable, chilling audio of David threatening my son, and her passive agreement was submitted. The final court hearing was short, decisive, and brutal. Chloe's defense crumbled immediately. The security footage, though only showing the door, provided critical context. David coming and going erratically. Leo, safely interviewed by a forensic specialist, finally opened up, detailing months of emotional manipulation and physical threats from David, and his mom's refusal to intervene. The judge listened to the audio, looked at the trauma report, and didn't hesitate. He granted me full physical custody immediately and permanently, citing the direct danger posed by David and Chloe's willful complicity and failure to protect Leo. David was formally charged with child endangerment and abuse. Chloe faced severe sanctions and supervised visitation, her entire facade of stability destroyed by her own negligence. She lost everything she had leveraged against me. The revenge wasn't in making them suffer financially or publicly. It was in the total and permanent restoration of my son's safety and my role as his protector. Seeing Leo, truly relaxed and happy, running around my sister's safe backyard, was the only victory that mattered. He is now with me, full-time, living a life where he is cherished and protected, no longer terrified of the ground rules. It required me to take a significant career step back, accepting a desk-based assignment closer to home, but I would trade my entire career for his peace of mind. I used every tactic I learned in the Army: patience, surveillance, coordinated force, not to fight a war, but to save the most precious person in my life. I had to use a secret weapon, a SMARTWATCH loophole, because the system had failed us. I had to fight dirty because they were playing a dirty game with my child's life. In the end, I didn't feel any triumph over Chloe or David. I just felt immense relief that the war was over and my soldier was safe. The moral of the story isn't just about custody. It's about listening to your gut, no matter how far away you are, and never underestimating the power of the technological lifelines we create for our loved ones. If you feel like something is wrong, something is wrong. Don't let distance or legal bureaucracy stop you from protecting the people you love. Like this video if you were on my side and believe Leo is finally where he belongs. Subscribe for more stories about the desperate battles people fight for their family. Share your final thoughts on my strategy and Chloe's betrayal in the comments section below. I'll see you all in the next story.